Hey YouTube, this is my first theory guitar lesson, and to help me with the entire lesson I have a good friend Justin.
What's up?
He's gonna have his own lessons on YouTube hopefully soon. He already has one. We'll post it as a video response. See, this video should be like right down there, something like that. Alright, we're gonna talk about music theory. Music theory is
music theory is the knowledge people have gained after like centuries of playing music and their understanding of what sounds go together and what sounds good and what to play.
It's kind of like why you can play chords and why you can play scales and why they sound good.
Yeah.
And instead of just playing, you know what you're playing, and it makes you a better musician overall.
Or you'll know what to do next. Like, hey, I'm playing this chord now. I know I could go to this other chord. Or I know I could play these notes to play under these chords over, to sound good too.
If you don't know what some of these terms are that we're using, this is a very basic lesson if you haven't noticed already. We're going to go over what a chord is, what a note is, what a key is, tone, scale, interval, sharp, flat, natural, notes, major, minor, and chromatic. Just a quick run through. I'm reading off a sheet.
Okay.
We wrote it like 2 seconds ago.
I say we should start with a note.
Alright, let's do it.
Alright. That's a note.
That's a note. That was the same note.
Yep.
There's another note. All these are notes. What a note is...
There's a few notes there.
A few notes. What a note is scientifically speaking, it's a wavelength in a certain frequency, a certain range, and when it's a specific range to get the perfect pitch of that note. But anything in there is kind of, you can name it that note. It'll be a little bit sharp or flat. Sharp means a little bit high, flat means a little bit low. That means higher frequency and lower frequency. So when playing a note, that's why these are called frets, and that's why frets are spaced a certain distance, is so that when you're playing, it increases and compresses the sound wave, making it have a higher frequency. So instead of being long, it's kind of like that. And they space it out to a certain measure so that each note, each fret is a specific distance, so you can get that new note.
Yeah, like it's all about how long the string is. You're changing the distance of the string to change the pitch. Shorter distance, higher note. Longer distance, lower note.
And same with the thickness of the string. Thicker note, or thicker string, lower note. That's why they progressively get smaller as you go down. Notes vary from an A to a G sharp.
And then it repeats.
And it repeats. The order is A, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp. If you notice, there aren't any B sharps or E sharps. It just jumps from B to C and E to F.
And also, the way I like to think about it, notice he was increasing from A to G. If you were going backwards from G to A, you might call those same sharps flats. Like G, G flat, F, E, E flat, D, D flat, C, B, B flat, and then A again. Then A flat, and G.
And you have to make sure, well, another thing to remember is a G sharp and an A flat are the same note. Thing to remember, you always want to know any place on the fretboard what a certain note is at any time. It's a major thing to know.
Very helpful.
When playing scales and chords, because you can make up chords on the spot if you know what you're doing. Say if you don't remember the fingering of it, you can say, well, I want to play a B flat dominant 7th because the scale is in something like that, and you can just find your first B flat and then make it from there.
And if you want a chord that's different than usual that also sounds good.
Yeah.
But remember, it takes a lot of practice to be able to do that. I can barely do it right now as it is, and we've been playing for about 3-4 years.
And we're pretty awesome, so.
Yeah, we are.
Well, alright. Can he bring the camera a little closer and talk about this?
Alright.
As we know, the strings of the guitar are E, A, D, G, B, and E. And we talked about the chromatic scale, so that shouldn't be the hard part here. So now I'm going to talk about knowing the notes for the fretboard. You start E, move up a half step to F, then another half step to F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, D, D sharp. Whoa, messed up.
You went from C to D.
C, C sharp, D, D sharp, and then E again.
Talk about.
Alright, just start talking.
Yeah, it's recording.
Alright, I want you to get a shot of the neck. So when we talk about this.
Like, come up closer.
Yeah. Like, so you can see, focus on the neck and not me.
Okay.
Alright. Earlier we were talking about the chromatic scale and how it's... Alright, you should know it by now. But... So, the notes of the low E string would be E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, then E. Then E flat, you know, D, D flat, C, B, B flat, A flat, G, G flat, F, E.
Dang, that's impressive. I can't think on spot like that.
Okay,
Good job.
Then for the A string, you're just gonna start somewhere else. A sharp,
We don't have to do the whole thing.
B, and so on. And you can figure out. And alright, now I'm gonna talk about some spots on the neck where you can memorize it. Sometimes you may hear people tune their guitar by ear, doing this. And that's some landmarks you can remember. On the 5th fret of the E is the next string down, A. And then on the 5th fret of the A string is the next string down, D. 5th fret on D is G. And the 4th fret on G is B. And then 5th fret on B is E. And then you have another A. On the 7th fret, C, this will be the next string up, B. Then it'll be on the 8th fret for this one to be a G. Then the next string D, that's a 7th fret on the G string to be a D. 7th fret on the D string would be an A. 7th fret on the A string would be a B, a E. And then 7th fret on the E string would be an E.